Today I am at the airport in Fiji picking up my little sister who's going to join me on the Gek for a couple months. So we just arrived at the dinghy dock and we are going to put all of this, including this bag, into the dinghy. Okay, here we go. Just a couple things. Now we just need to fit 2 more people in and we're all set. A large amount of what Teiga has in her bags is stuff that I've ordered for my boat, including a new kite. So anyone who has ever been to visit a sailor knows that part of the deal is that you end up bringing at least 1 or 2 suitcases full of things for them and boat parts for them. It's so much easier to get boat parts in the States than it is in Fiji, and especially since my dad works in the industry and gets a lot of good deals on stuff and knows exactly where to source it. Teiga is joining me for a month in Fiji, and then the 2 of us are going to make the passage to New Zealand together. As you guys know, my videos do lag a couple months behind real time, so don't worry, I'm not trying to sail to New Zealand in January. So Teiga and I are in downtown Nandi right now. We've done some provisioning and other things. Now we're going to head to this temple that we found on Google Maps. It looks really nice. This beautiful downtown Nandi, and it's incredible because outside of the gates it's just typical city and traffic, and then once you get inside there's the peaceful tinkling of bells and beautiful smells of incense. To enter the temple you have to have your shoulders and knees covered, but luckily they have a box full of borrow items by the check-in area so that tourists like us can cover ourselves respectfully. We also have to leave our shoes on a little grate as there are no shoes allowed in the temple. Once respectfully attired, we were able to walk in and appreciate the magnificent beauty of this temple. The craziest thing about this temple is that it's right in the middle of the crazy downtown, and even though you can kind of hear the traffic all around it, it's just so peaceful. It's like this aura that it has. It's super nice. Alright, back to the real world. Look at these shoulders. Comment below if you want Teiga to always wear that outfit, because I think she can really pull it off and it looks super cool on her. So that's the temple, and then this is just outside of it. But you don't feel any of this when you're in there. Our next stop was the bustling downtown fruit and vegetable market to do a big provision before we headed up to the Yasawas and the Mamanukas. Food is pretty cheap in Fiji if you get it in the city, and there's just a staggering amount of options, and most of the vendors sell the same things, so my strategy was usually to wander around and get a little bit of each thing from each person, and thus wind my way deeper and deeper inside this maze of beautiful fruits and vegetables. Our last stop was this tower of eggs. In Fiji, they don't refrigerate their eggs because they're farm fresh. Since I don't have a fridge on the Gek, it works out anyway. They last for months as long as you flip them every couple days. So after a very long day, we finally made it home. We're eating dinner. Yeah. I'm so hungry. And have all of our delicious foods in the food hammock. Tomorrow we're heading out of here to do Teiga's first sail in Fiji. Yay! Not very far, just 15 miles. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's good to get out of town and get back into water we can swim in and frolic like we were meant to frolic. Okay, we are off. Yay! Maiden voyage out of Fiji. It rained all morning, so we kind of drug our heels, and now we're not going quite as far, but it's just no fun to motor in the rain. So we're deciding to motor in the clouds. Anyway, check out all the birds. Okay, I have my autopilot turned on. Hello, my name's Autopilot. First name Auto, last name Pilot. And we're sailing. It's really strange. The wind was predicted to be 10 knots from the south, and instead it's about 15 knots from the north. So we're trying to find a really protected anchorage, because basically that means that we don't know what's gonna happen and we want to feel safe tonight. So we have sail up, working jib, full main, and we're heading towards a nice sheltered place. Hopefully we'll find a good spot to anchor.
Come sailing in Fiji, they said.
So day one of Teiga's first sailing experience in Fiji. We have squalls, too much wind, not enough wind, strangey wangey, the end. We finally made it into our anchorage, which was just a short pit stop for the night in beautiful clear water before we were going to head out the next morning early. So Teiga and I bought a giant jar of pickles. And we have a contest. We each guessed the number of pickles that are in the jar. Whoever wins and gets closest gets a free drink out. The only way to count the pickles in the jar is to eat them out of the jar. So we have a running tally here. Mm-hmm. This is just the number of pickles we ate on the passage over. And then we have this Sharpie that we're tying to a string, and we're going to attach it to the jar somehow. Oh, I didn't think that.
You could tie it around here probably.
Yeah, otherwise it'll have to be a longer string.
And then we have drastically different bets on how many pickles we thought were in the jar. So I thought that there were 108 pickles in the jar, and Holly thought that there were only 57 pickles in the jar.
So clearly it's confusing. Anyway.
Perfect. Yay!
Pickle jar.
Day
Comment
2.
below, how many pickles do you think are in the jar? Wait.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think? 57 or 108? Who do you think is closer? Who's gonna win?
Over on.
It's 4:30 in the morning, and Teiga and I have just woken up. There was supposed to be really good wind. We're gonna try to sail really far today, but there's not really much wind at all, so we're gonna leave anyway. We're just gonna take off and see how far we can get. It's a full moon. Can you see anything? Oh, kind of. You can see all the anchor lights. Oh yeah, there it is. Whoa, that's really pretty. We're just kind of motor sailing to get out of this little channel area because the wind and the current are dead against us, and there's a lot of coral. So theoretically we could tack up it, but it would be kind of scary and take a long time considering we can't see anything. Right now with the current against us, we're going 2.5 knots, which is not boding well for our giant mileage day, but the wind is good, so I think as soon as we get out of this little narrow channel-y gap, we should be full sail, good to go, having a ball, time of our lives. But anyway, it's an amazing sunrise, so definitely worth waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Ah! All right.
Turn the engine off.
Gear flags out. We are sailing. We are going 2.8 whole knots. Hopefully, well, okay, I'm pinching a little bit, and I think there's still current, and the wind is pretty light. So I think once we get out of here and turn off onto our course, hopefully we'll be going faster otherwise. Well, the wind is a lot lighter than it was forecast. It was supposed to be 20 knots from the south, and it's kind of probably more like 10 to 12 from the east. So we're just gonna go and see how far we get. No reason to run the engine. We'll just take it easy. Take it easy, man. Sail away. Also, 1. 2. Somebody wrote down the same shirt that I have. So the wind, since it's totally dead, we're sort of changing our plan and heading towards an island that's a little closer, because right now we're motoring and it just seems silly. So we are bringing out our fishing pole. Friends of ours gave us a fishing pole. Shout out Sonny and Kevin on Lazy Sunday. And Teiga is the certified fishing woman, and she is going to be trawling for us with the pole. So hopefully we catch something. We've arrived. This was one of the hardest anchorings I've had in a really long time. It's about 70 feet deep, and then there's this tiny piece of sand between reefs, and there were already 4 other boats here. So we kind of made a spectacle of ourselves and sailed around in circles, and everyone was telling us, anchor there, and then staring at us. Everyone was very involved in the process, so we kind of wedged ourselves in. This charter boat with a really nice Fijian captain told us to come anchor by him. We're a little close, but he said it's okay. And they're being really loud, so I feel like it's probably really peaceful here, but we're listening to drunk people singing along to bad music. We're also really hot and sweaty, but just trying to finish putting away the rest of the boat. Luckily, we're only staying here one night, and overnight the wind is forecast to change, and so we're gonna have to move anchorages anyway. Paradise Lost. We woke up to, as forecast, strong wind from the north, which is kind of blowing right into our anchorage, so we took off and we are sailing to a spot that has protection from the north, but it is quite the rainy, windy, blowy, not blowy, wavy, not wavy sail. So we have some sun and we have some squalls, and when we left it was probably blowing 20, and now it's more like 15. So we're a little underpowered with the small head sail, but I also am afraid to change it out because there's a big squall sitting upwind of us, and I feel like it's one of those days when you can just do a million sail changes. So right now we're only going 3 knots, but it's kind of exhausting on days like this. I usually choose to just go slow rather than playing the head sail on, head sail off game situation. So we are actually just heading towards those islands over there. One of them has a really nice big bay and has really good protection because the wind is going to go from the northeast to the northwest over the next 24 hours. So we need a lot of protection from all angles. Oh, it's sloppy out here though, with a little bit of underpower. And this is why I didn't want to change the head sail. Would have been changing right back to the little guy now. The wind is back up. We are cruising along at almost 5.5 knots. With tacking, we have about 12 miles to go. If we went in a straight line, it would be 10 miles, but finally some rail sailing. We made it in. It was a very sporty sail over here. We were going 6 knots at one point, close hauled, which is almost unheard of. And the anchorage is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We had a swim, had some lunch, and now we're gonna head in to do savu savu with the chief. But this is the view. Items to bring to Savu Savu. Number 1, and most importantly, the kava bundle. Number 2, you have to have your knees covered and your shoulders, so I always just wear a big t-shirt. And then for the knees, it's easiest to just bring a pareo. So I have one for me, one for Teiga. We'll throw them in the bag, and then when we get to the beach, wrap them around our waist. It's what a lot of the women in the villages do too, so super acceptable. And that's pretty much all you need. Sometimes it's fun to bring little gifts to give away if you meet kids, or things for adults, or baked goods, whatever sorts of stuff you feel like bringing. But the bare minimum is the kava and the coverings. Men as well have to cover their knees, so a lot of men choose to wear the pareos also. Today's gifts that I'm bringing are 2 little notebooks and a set of colored pencils. I'll probably drop this stuff off at the school for the kiddos. Okay, next we are having a pareo putting on lesson. So I learned this the hard way. I didn't try to put one on for the first time until I got to the village, and then I was mad struggling with it and it fell off in the middle of the village. It was super embarrassing. So Teiga's gonna practice on the boat first. This one also has a lot of holes in it.
Awesome.
So, the correct way to do it. Kind of like a towel. Yes, you can fold it to the length you want, then wrap it all the way around yourself. Yeah, go over the t-shirt. That's what the women in the village do. All the way around, and then you roll the top down. And the thing that's bad that I did, is what you did too, is that this little end is dangerous, because if it gets pulled, then the whole thing pulls off, but that's what happened to me.
My knees!
So be sure to tuck your end.
Okay.
This is very scientific.
Aha!
Yes, there we go. And now it's scandalously short.
My knees!
This is why we're practicing.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay.
Beautiful. There we go. And now you're village ready. Shoulders covered, knees covered. Good to go.
Yes.
Alright, we're off to the village! Peace out! We are moving again today. So last night we anchored in South Wai'a Bay, Wai'a being in the Asawas part of Fiji. And today there's supposed to be a west wind, so we're gonna sail all the way up to somewhere around this area and anchor there for the night. It's about a 35-40 mile sail, so we're getting a nice early start at 7 o'clock. Oops. And it should be a good wind once we get out of here. It's hard to tell in here, but kind of rainy thunderstorm last night. Hopefully not too disgusting of a sail up this morning, but you never know. Well, we're motoring out of the bay. It's already starting to rain and there's no wind. So this is gonna be a great 36 miles. Yeah. Fiji. Right now the sails are just completely limp. But we had to leave the anchorage we were in anyway because yesterday the wind went from the northeast to the northwest. That was the perfect anchorage for that protection, but the bay is wide open to the south, which is what the wind is going to be doing now. Basically what's happening is that a really big system is passing under Fiji right now, and it's just swirling the wind around, so it's making it really tricky to find a spot to anchor around here. So that's just what we're doing. Homeless little nuggets, tooling around looking for protection. Teiga and I just made it to Blue Lagoon yesterday. We had about 2 hours of pouring rain, collected 10 gallons of rain off the sail, then sun, and it was just kind of an insane trip, but it's super beautiful here. This is what it looks like. We had a little bit of a late start this morning. I'm feeling under the weather, and today's one of the first days that we haven't had to move anchorages for weather because Blue Lagoon is pretty protected on all sides. So we're having a lazy morning. I just went for a little dip. Now I'm gonna make some breakfast and we're just gonna hang out. First really sunny, chill day in an anchorage that's not rolly, which we're both very happy about. Thank you guys for watching this week's video. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on Mondays, and for my patrons, you guys get a snack on the weeks that I don't put out full-length YouTube. Why am I in a car, you may ask? Well, I've left the GEC for a little bit in a very safe and undisclosed location, and I'm currently touring around in a van with a friend. We're gonna drive all around New Zealand. Today we're going kiting right after I finish this edit, so I'm inspired to be fast. We just spent the night in this beautiful campground, and I'm very excited to see New Zealand from land and to share it with you guys when the edits catch up with the real life. This is where I am. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, down to business. Thank you so much to my patrons who do make all of this possible. Without your contributions, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be working somewhere way less far west than I am currently. Words, haven't had coffee yet. Okay. Thank you guys for all of your lovely comments. I read them all, and I try to respond to as many as I can whenever I have time and internet. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.com/windhippie. For one-time donations, I have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie. Pardon the car noise in the background. Thanks to everyone who donated towards getting a new engine. I can't wait to share that episode with you guys. Basically, as soon as I landed in New Zealand, I ended up replacing the whole thing. It's great footage. I'm really excited to share it with you. But for now, just know that the GEC has a new engine that has put many hours under the keel because New Zealand seems to either have too much wind or not enough wind, so there's been a lot of motoring. And I think that's it. Thank you, Tish, for helping me schedule these videos online. She sort of manages my time for me because I'm not great with it. I do these edits, upload them, send them over to her, and then she gets them on and scheduled and sends me text reminders saying, Holly, you need to edit another episode. It's kind of like being in school. I have a video due today. Anyway, I think that's all. Patrons, I'll see you guys next week with a snack, and YouTubers, I'll see you in 2 weeks with another full-length episode. Merchandise, if you would like, in the link below. I have a lot of cool things that you can buy. I'm wearing a Wind Hippie sailing t-shirt right now. Exhibit A, beautiful model, sporting t-shirt under hoodie. Okay, bye!